listening to Radio 1851.
Something like this. Tag team back again. Check it, record, let's begin. Party on, party people, let me hear some noise. DC's in the house, jump, jump, rejoice.
And that's right. Let it begin.
Right, that was a much better song than normal. I give you credit.
I couldn't help.
But let's. There's a better song we can play, and I think you know what it is.
We're not playing it.
Come on, Lutz, sing it. Moving on, Lutz, let's go.
Don't yell. Come on. For anyone watching the video stream right now, my hand is literally in my face.
For all that don't know, everyone that doesn't know, he came up to me. First thing he said to me today was, if you play that song, I'm going to punch you in the face. And he didn't, so Lutz is not a man of his word. The Sixers are moving on.
I don't want to... I'm not getting violent in my studio here, okay? And it's not even mine. It's owned by the school. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Rambling Sports. My name is Lutz. South Philly Bill here on my far left. Oscar keeps on showing up. I think he honestly just hangs out here and waits for me to show up.
Oh, you guys, you know I love it, man. I love it here, man.
So funny.
What a song. What a song.
He sleeps on the green couch over there that's sitting over there in the studio.
That couch is nasty.
It is. It's hot in here. I'm wearing my Globo Gym Purple Cobra shirt because you know why? We are Globo Gym, and we will rock you. Anyway, I can't help myself there. We got a lot to talk about, and I guess the song is the intro of what we're going to do today, because Sixers did it in 5. But I'm going to point this out here, because I said this before, said it when it happened before, and I was right. Series is going to 6. Told you LeBron was not going to get it done in 5.
Yeah, I mean, all right, let's not dwell. Let's not dwell on the false predictions. Let's relish in the victory of the Philadelphia 76ers.
I have video proof.
Okay, video proof of the Sixers winning in 5 and Meek getting released from prison. That was peak. Any other day besides February 4th of 2018, April, what was it, the 23rd?
24th.
It was the 24th day, was the second greatest day in a long time in Philadelphia sports. That was an awesome day. How everything played out.
Meek Mill got freed out of prison.
It was okay, and then he came to, they literally flew him in, the Sixers owner was there visiting him, got into his car, drove away, found out that he was getting released, drove back, picked him up with Kevin Hart. They got into a freaking helicopter and drove to the stadium for him to ring the bell at 8. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. And then the Sixers played amazing.
Yes, they did. Yeah, all I can really tell you is they did what they were supposed to do. And Meek Mill got freed from jail, and Kevin Hart decided to show up. And
the governor was there next to Meek Mill, next to Jeffrey Lurie, next to the Sixers owner, all palling around. It was just a Philadelphia, Pennsylvania peak in Wells Fargo last night. It was a great game.
Absolutely. We'll get to phone lines in a minute. We actually got a lot. We got
take it. Why not? Let's take it.
You know what? Somebody's happy that the Sixers won. Hold on a minute. You turn on the phone mic here. Horrible radio here, folks. And they're both gone. So here, you know what? For anyone who's calling, try to call back in. We're about to take you, and then you just hung up off the line for no understandable reason.
Yeah. So the Sixers game is what I did in night class. Sorry, Dad, if you're listening. Turned on the game. The first quarter, did you guys watch? Did you guys watch intensely? I saw the second half. Second half. You saw the better half.
Oh, yeah.
I did not watch
First half, they kind of just let the Heat were playing well and let them in the game. And then the Sixers Dario wasn't playing that well, and Embiid was flopping out. He is just it looks like he's going every which way. But it was kind of like a typical Sixers start to a game. They didn't outperform the Heat, and the Heat, they're a good team, they're a physical team, so they were able to stay with them. I thought the key to the game was that when they started trying to bitch around Ben Simmons, he got pissed when he
topped and patted on the top of the head.
Yeah, he got Dragic slapped on the back of the head, and then his second drive of the game, Richardson comes and just does a flying swan dive into his leg.
Yeah, he undercut him.
And the best thing that came out of this game, Ben Simmons, cool, calm, and collected guy, didn't get too high. He could have turned around and socked Dragic. Could have been suspended, could have been kicked out of the game. He was in every bit of his right. NBA guys do that sometimes, and he didn't. I thought the team as a whole showed real maturity when, at a team, the weakest, softest, crybabyest Miami Heat team since LeBron was there flopping around. But I thought this was a great growing up moment for the team, especially in the second half when they came out and played the way they should have. And Brett Brown getting showered in beer, or I'm not sure if it was beer or juice.
I think it was chocolate milk.
Because half that team is under 21 still. I think we're combined
milk.
older than every single guy on that team, especially you Lutz over there.
Hey, man. Easy there.
But I was happy to see. I stayed up and watched all the press conference. It was just an awesome series, an awesome environment. Wells Fargo, I had a couple of friends who were there. They were texting me about it, sending me videos of Meek Mill ringing the bell while I was crying away in my legal environment of business class. But overall, great game, great physical play, and great response.
Well, think about it. Well, look at the stat. Look at the stat line here. You got 14, 10, and 6 from Ben Simmons, which is fine. Not ideal for point scoring, but obviously JJ
Redick, baby. JJ Redick.
Embiid had
with a double-double.
He had 19.
Bellinelli had 11. Rocco had 10. Like, you got guys that were chipping in reasonable.
That's a Sixer win right there. That's how the Sixers play. They always have one subsidiary guy who...
Usually J.J. Redick.
Yeah, usually J.J. Redick, but oftentimes it's been Bellinelli and Ilyasova. What combination of those three guys who come up huge, especially the picking up Sarge that game. You could tell he gets beat up. He does not get many calls. So I thought he was a little tired in the first half. He picked it up in the second half, started hitting some shots. He hit the first shot out of halftime. But that's a Sixer win. I
will say this though. By the way, good thing as I'm looking at this playoff bracket over here, Sixers are the only ones right now to actually advance. First team to advance so far.
They were the first, and then
I kind of hate how everyone's already picking the Sixers to go to the conference, to go to the finals for starters. I understand why. They're the hot young team. Everyone's really liking it. But I will say this. You can't, for this, I know it's the Heat, but to be fair, you can't have Sarge go 0 for 5 from 3, Ilyasova go 0 for 5 from 3, and Bellinelli go. You can't have your three out of your best 4 3-point shooters not make a single bucket from outside. Well, good thing they scored otherwise.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying it's the Sixers can win in so many different ways. The Sixers win is playing fast,
playing defense,
playing
starters,
incredible defense. Brett Brown said it after the game.
Well, Whiteside only had 2 points. I don't even think he played that much.
He only played 15 minutes the last game.
10 minutes.
10 minutes. They take pride in playing defense. All their guys can switch. Ben Simmons is a beast on ball defensively. He's so long. Embiid.
They take out JJ and they have like 5 guys that are like over 6'6" and long.
Embiid's a beast down low. There was a stat when he is not in the game, the opposing team is 60 to 72% at the rim. When he is in the game, guess the number. What the NBA average is and what he is.
I'm gonna go with like 25%.
Okay.
They decided.
27. Thanks, man. The league average is like 54. Still, that's how big of a difference he makes between average center and the best shot blocker in the league right now. But what you were saying with the role players not making shots is, of course, next round against Boston, against a very well coached team in Boston,
that's going to be important.
That's going to be hugely important, especially without home court advantage.
I did see for the Sixers, which they played spectacular. Their defense, there were some holes in there. I know good coach for Brad Stevens. Backdoor cuts and flashing in the middle. That's how the Heat mostly scored their points. And I know
that they're going to have their hands full with Brad Stevens. Brad Stevens is going to win too.
Well, also
he's going to win 2 games with that series by himself, which is incredible.
Which realistically, that's a series that can go into 7. Because I'll tell you what. Let's say, I know it's a very Milwaukee's a very different team than the Sixers. But let's see what Marcus Smart's coming back. He's another.
He played well. He played well yesterday
exactly.
too.
Yeah. He played well. You still have Terry Rozier. He's been playing lights out. Very well. Very good basketball. I understand Eric Bledsoe's guardian was like 5'3", but Stevens is gonna be smart. He's my opinion, the second best coach in the league, if not the best within the next 2 years.
And what's underestimated about the series against the Heat, Spo's a great coach too. That guy has 2 titles. Whether it's with LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh or not, he has 2 titles. He's beaten Greg Popovich in the NBA Finals. So I think the combination of
Ray Allen also got one of them. So like
beating probably a Hall of Fame coach with a Hall of Fame GM and a great franchise that played the physical, that made every bit of what the Sixers wanted to do uncomfortable. They're not going to see a tougher series than that. But no, they will not get knocked around more than they just did. And the way they responded.
Well, by the way, Kelly Olynyk also played his heart out.
Well, that's
37 minutes too.
That's what I'm saying.
Horford's not going to do that defensively.
That's what I'm saying. They're not. Boston, Cleveland, Milwaukee, or Toronto are not going to give them the same amount of physicality because they physically can't do it with their rosters, but also because Boston, the way Boston's been playing Milwaukee is kind of how, kind of the style Miami played on offense, but defensively it's been the opposite because they do not have that big, strong guy that's it's going to be either Tatum or Jaylen Brown, but they're not as big and physical as Justice Winslow was to get up into Ben Simmons. The game's going to open up a little more if they play Boston. Same thing with Milwaukee. By
the way, I will happily say this: don't underestimate Jaylen Brown. And I'm not trying to.
I'm not underestimating. I'm saying the level of physicality.
He's been playing some very good basketball, especially this year, for a guy that realistically everyone would have thought was a bust as the number 5.
No, I'm not underestimating. I'm saying his level of style defensively is very much like.
I'm talking about offensively too.
I'm not worried about the Celtics offensively.
Because you have the best debated with the best defense in the playoffs.
Yes, I'm talking how effective is Ben Simmons going to be in this playoff series. That is the key for the Sixers to win, and the way the Miami won their game and kept every game very close until the fourth quarter, and then brought this game back down to double digits yesterday, was shutting down Ben Simmons' ability to penetrate easily. He can still get wherever he wants on the floor, but the key is stopping his penetration from the 3-point line at the wings and not letting him get off clean looks to the outside shooters or give the ball to Embiid and post up.
Yeah, but going off of that, what you were saying, obviously Ben Simmons is the key, but Ben Simmons is the key obviously because he is, everyone knows, not a great perimeter shooter by any means necessary, but he is basically saying, all right, I'm ready to go. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Try and stop me at this point. And that's what he's been showing for at least the back half of this season.
And that's what I'm saying. I do want to see.
Yeah, obviously, and another key. Obviously, Joel Embiid has to do what he does. If he plays like he's doing right now, Boston is very little chance of winning.
He's not even playing that well either, which is the scary part.
He had 19 and 12.
That's not his usual numbers, which is kind of crazy.
Rebound wise,
not 19 and 12. He's got to get used to playing offensively with that mask. It is still affecting him. That's why what we said last week was I kind of wanted this series to go a little longer for him to get in shape, but he didn't look rusty. He was definitely rusty offensively, but he didn't look out of shape. I thought all of his...
He went 8 for 14.
Yeah,
that's a great game.
I thought a lot of his shots were at the rim, not a lot of mid-range jumpers, because he's not yet fully comfortable with pulling up with the mask on. He's got to get more practice time in it, which comes with that Boston series going back to Milwaukee and potentially going 7, because Milwaukee's going to give them a hell of a fight in 2 days. I think the game's going to be played because they just played yesterday. And it gives a lot of time for Because they did get beat up in this series. A lot of guys need rest. They need 2 days off and then to get in the gym and refine some execution type of things that they could do against Miami and get away with, like you were saying, with allowing back cuts, a lot of slashing points, but they can't do it against a well-coached team like Boston or a more athletic team like Milwaukee.
Actually, Game 6 is tomorrow.
It's tomorrow? Okay.
Yeah, Thursday.
They only give him one travel day for Game 6? Wow.
Yeah. They got TV deals, man.
Well,
they got to get this thing going.
They give the Sixers series too. That's all I'm saying.
Because they knew they were going to win in 5. They need to get this TV deal.
All right. Hey,
all
well and
ESPN
good.
runs everything.
With that being said, I do have to give a shout out to possibly his last game was last night. Dwayne Wade, Hall of Famer. Great career.
Same thing with Mano. Mano may have played his last game last.
Yeah, old Ginobili. He may have played his last game too, and that's a shame.
That series was a fight too. Like the Spurs did not go down without a fight, same way Miami did. Yeah. And granted, the Warriors don't have Curry, and I think the West is really interesting now.
I can't wait for that Pelicans Warriors
series.
Playoffs.
That's where I was going.
Anthony
I think
Davis.
the Rockets are going to roll through the rest of their side of the bracket. I really believe that. They're a lot better than the Warriors.
Well, the only thing about the Rockets, I think. Because realistically, I think Utah's winning the series. I think in 5. Oscar thinks is in 6, as we discussed off the air. But if we're looking at the layout for the rest of this playoffs, let's think about this. Rockets can probably beat the Jazz. I'll say the Jazz for all intents and purposes, because Oklahoma City does not look like they've been coached well. Russ is emotionally unstable. And Carmelo is not doing a single thing.
I've told you my Russell Westbrook theory before.
I probably don't remember.
I did it with Andrew when he was on the show. Russell Westbrook will never win a championship with his style of play. Look what he has done with the type of talent he has had on his team, and he is losing to Ricky Rubio and a rookie in Donovan Mitchell. I don't care how good Donovan Mitchell is. If you're the MVP of everyone, it's like he plays so hard. He plays with so much effort. Like he's always getting the ball. If you're shooting 25% with 5 minutes left in the game at crunch time, give the ball up to the better shooters on your team, Paul George. Because he takes the dumbest shots. His style of play is not conducive to winning a championship because he does not elevate the talent that's on his team.
The guy averaged a triple-double back-to-back
I don't care. It's not going to win a championship. I don't care if you average 50, 50, and 50. If your other teammates can't score and your team can't play defense.
Okay, well, it doesn't help that Carmelo Anthony can't score literally to save his life.
You could tell that
your quote-unquote big 3 is Paul George is doing everything that he can. Russell Westbrook is doing more, and no one else is doing anything else.
If Russell Westbrook was that good and that big of an MVP, that team should be able to get by the Utah Jazz.
The Jazz are not a bad team, though. That's the thing. But you're just saying that because Ricky Rubio
everyone said, but okay, they have an MVP on their team, best player in the league, averaging a triple-double, with better players on his team now. Better players this year, and they get the 3 seed. Everyone's like, oh, the Thunder are the sneaky team. He can't gets dominated by Ricky Rubio, rookie, and Rudy Gobert.
This is my view on that is.
Oh, by the way, Derek Favors is also playing his heart out, and that coach over there at Utah.
I don't care if you're the best player in the league. You should not be getting knocked out in the first round.
I'm putting someone on the phone.
Do you know that? All right, we'll continue.
Phone. Nope, that's fine. You're on Ramblin' Sports. Who is it?
Oh my goodness, Johnny Lutz, Billy McCarthy. I love the show.
Old Matty Migs. How you doing, pal?
I'm not well after hearing what Billy McCarthy just said.
I knew you were going to say that.
Mike from Manioc,
I believe it with my entire heart. Let's hear it.
Mike from Manioc would be beyond annoyed. By the way, shout out to 4th and Long.
The guys,
Monday it's 5 to 6, or Monday 5 to 6:30, like yesterday. Run by old Matty Migs, occasionally Tommy the Hip. Phenomenal show, Laz, all those guys. Truly appreciate what you've done, Migden, to grow the brand of Radio 1851 and also the brand of Rambling Sports.
Migden, here.
Over next year.
Let's hear
it, Migden.
Let's hear it.
Russell. Let me bring it back to 2015, Billy McCarthy, when Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant held a 3-1 lead over the best regular season team in the history of the NBA and the Warriors, who went on to win that year. And not only were
they lost that year.
No,
yeah,
he's talking about the Warriors.
Won.
I thought the Warriors
Let him
lost.
talk.
I thought the Warriors
What,
lost.
Megan, let's hear it.
The Warriors won that year. With the, you're right, not the best regular season. You're right, Lutz, my bad. But one of the best teams we've ever seen, and they won that year. They held a 3-2 game lead going into Game 6, and Kevin Durant went 0 for 9 in the fourth quarter. He needed to hit one of those shots, and they would have went to the NBA Finals and played LeBron, and the Warriors would have never won. 3 games to 2. You know who got them there? Russell Westbrook.
Yes, but you know who can't get his team past the first round when he's supposedly the
Carmelo
all-time
Anthony?
stat sheet, and all he does is stuff stat sheets, and it's not conducive to his team winning a first round against Ricky Rubio. I just can't get over this. He's getting dominated by Ricky Rubio.
It's not a one-star league anymore.
But everyone said he is the one star who can lead his team to a championship. Everyone was all over him last year. And now he just stats hunt for the triple-double this year, but that style isn't conducive to his team winning a championship.
Set this guy straight.
Megden, before you do, let me ask you something. For the how does OKC usually run their offense? From fast breaks, correct?
Fast breaks. Give Russell the ball and get out of his way.
Exactly.
How does that win a championship?
And their half-court offense is honestly not there, in my opinion. Which is why a team like the Jazz is beating them. Yes, it is.
Oscar?
Yeah, what's up, Megden? What's up, dude?
I didn't know you were on the show. I love it.
Oscar sleeps in the radio station and waits for us to show up here.
Oh, my God. It's not get out of the way. It's let Russell go, and he's going to find... Listen, I don't understand stuff and stats, all right? If you're getting rebounds, if you're getting assists, you're doing something right. So what are you talking about? He's stuffing his
when
stats
your
or
teammates
whatever
get out of the way just so you
involved.
can have a stat line. That's exactly what it is.
Well, let her call it talk. Let old Matty Migs speak.
I know. I'm waiting to hear a good point to say. I want you to dispute the point of his playing style. Can win a championship on his team because it clearly cannot.
If I'm starting a team tomorrow, I'm picking Russell Westbrook.
And your team's going to lose in the first and second round of the playoffs every year.
You're wrong.
What?
Listen,
tell me how. Tell me where I'm wrong. Tell me what proof he has done in the playoffs.
I just told you. In 2015, his teammate choked in the fourth quarter, and they would have went to the finals. And then he took his team to the finals when he was in the third year of his NBA career.
Yes, that was an off year for the West. Since he's been a top 5 player in the league.
Is that past the first round, Billy McCarthy? I don't know.
Since he's been a top 5 player in the league, which he clearly is, because you would start a franchise with him. Why can't he lead a team with better talent than he had last year past the first round of the playoffs?
Start here, Megan. I'm sorry for interrupting, but I'm going to raise my hand here because let's think about it. And I love Billy Donovan. Billy Donovan has coached a horrible series for starters. And your third member of your air quotes here for anyone who's not watching the video stream, Big Three, has done precisely nothing. They've got Carmelo Anthony coming over here thinking that this was the best possible option ever. But don't forget, Big Threes don't always win. Look, ironically, the first year that LeBron went to the finals against the Mavs. But when you have a guy in Carmelo Anthony who should be averaging 19 a game.
Carmelo's not the point here. Carmelo is not the point of
it. It's a big three.
If Russell Westbrook is so good, he's supposed to get him the shots that make him succeed.
Okay,
why isn't he doing that?
Him the shots,
no, he's not.
Carmelo's not making it.
He's obviously not. If he's not putting his players, if it's all on Russ, and everyone gives all the credit to Russ when he's getting all these stats and all these points and all these rebounds, then it clearly should be on him when he is losing.
The problem is Russ had a team of players last time that fit the system around him while he plays. Carmelo Anthony's not one of those guys, and neither is Paul George. But Paul George is that good where he can drop 32 a night, and otherwise no one else helps him out.
But why do people continuously make excuses for this freaking guy when he can't get out of the first round of the playoffs with better talent on his team?
It's just 1 year.
All right, let Megden talk.
Billy, last year, did he get past the first round of the playoffs?
Yes, and then I lost.
Okay, he got past the first round. Who was on his team? Nobody. He's averaging triple-double. He's the most valuable player in the league, and he led his team to 55 wins, a third seed in the Western Conference regular season.
And now they can't get past the Utah Jazz with better players.
The Warriors, the Spurs, the Clippers, the
better
Blazers,
players does not always mean a better team for a better system.
But that's what everyone said. He's got better players now. They got a shot to the dark horse.
Well,
and
maybe
he
everyone's
can't do it
wrong
now.
and stupid.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I think I still think it kind of goes down to my point because probably three-quarters of that game.
Not a fast break guy. Anyway.
No,
Carmelo Anthony sucks.
3/4 of the game is fast break. When do they? I don't even know how many plays they run in a game, unless it's crunch time or 2 minutes left in the clock.
And that style is conducive
and that's
to
why
winning
I think that's
in the
why I
playoffs.
think the Jazz is winning. Yeah,
Okay. That's what
The
going
Jazz
back
are
to
winning,
going back to what I was saying before. The team is not built for a fast break pace like they were before, and mostly that's due to one man, Mr. Carmelo Anthony. Megden, continue.
Russell Westbrook is nowhere to blame here. I saw Darren in the library here. He seems to be ranting on Rambling Sports. But listen, Russell Westbrook is
shout out to Frat Beast.
Top five player in the league, no doubt. He's averaged a triple-double the last 2 years. You can't tell me that he's at fault here. You know who's at fault is Carmelo Anthony and just Billy Donovan, too. You look at that team, Carmelo Anthony, what they do, the Jazz, they're very smart, they're very well coached. They look to get Carmelo switched on every screen because he cannot laterally move. He cannot guard anybody.
I understand the point with Melo.
Embarrassing.
Migden, what I want to ask you is why do we keep on making excuses for this guy that we hold other star players accountable for the success of their team and the failures of our team more, but we do not give Russell Westbrook any of the blame for the failures of his team.
A lot of people have given Russ blame. A lot of people give LeBron blame or Kevin Durant.
They blame everything on LeBron James because it's squarely on his shoulders. If you're the star of the team, you deserve the majority of the blame. I understand the coach freaking sucks. I get it, but he was also the coach last year.
Bill,
at a certain point, it's Russell Westbrook's playing style that is not conducive to winning in the playoffs. He has to change the way that he plays because it does not win.
Bill, put it in perspective. Like I said, 2015, Kevin Durant going 0 for 9 in the fourth quarter and a chance to close it out Game 6. Then Kevin Durant leaves, a top 2 player in the league. He leaves
because of Russell Westbrook.
He comes back. They're going to the finals.
He left because they weren't able to get enough more talent around him, and he decided to go and be a weenie and go to Oklahoma State.
No, he didn't leave. He left because he was weak. Did you hear what I said?
That's what I said. He was weak.
Let him talk.
They had a chance to beat the team that won the whole thing, and he left, and it was his fault. He left Russell Westbrook behind. So what does Russ do? He doesn't whine. He gets right back on the horse without Kevin Durant and wins 55 games in a tough Western Conference and goes to the playoffs and goes past the first round, averages a triple-double with the most valuable player season. He's not whining.
No, that was last year. They didn't win. They didn't win 55 games and have the 3rd seed in the West 2 years ago. When he won the MVP, they were the 7th seed, and they won 42 games. They won 45 games. This year, I agree with you because he had better talent on his team. They won 55 games. And are the 3rd seed.
This year, no. Okay, first of all, this year they won 48 games, and they're the 4th seed people.
Okay, 4th seed. There we go.
I'm looking at the wrong stats here. You got to put in perspective. They're going to the finals. And
they're going to. He went to the finals. Maybe that's an anomaly, and you have to look at the rest of his playoff experience. Yes, he had KD, and KD missed those shots, but Russ is also at fault for the majority of that game. Why, if he is that great player, why isn't he conducive to winning these series? That's what I'm saying. I don't think he's not. I'm not saying he's not a great player. I'm saying the style that he plays with needs to change in the playoffs because it's not conducive to winning a championship. And it's proven because he has had the second best player on this team before and they didn't win the championship. Yes, they made it to the finals that one year when they were really young, but they also had James Harden, a lot of separate other pieces in a weaker West.
Bill, he put his team in the best chance to win, and Durant choked. He can play at that level. And
can we talk about the last 2 years when that are more relevant? Because I agree, he led his team. He did not whine. I love how he did not whine. He was tough and he stuck it out and he got that MVP. I'm not saying he did not deserve that. I'm saying in the playoffs, his style is not conducive to winning a championship because it's just fact. I think it's fact now because his teams do not succeed in the playoffs. You have to change something when the results don't show.
Well, maybe I think you're basing the whole thing on just this series right now, and I understand that. He's struggling right now. The Jazz are doing a great job. But you can't tell me last year that his type of play does not get him far in the playoffs.
It did get him far in the playoffs, but it's not going to win. I want to win. I don't want to just make the playoffs and lose in round 2. I don't want to be the Los Angeles Clippers that lose in the second round of the playoffs every year, which is the way his style will get. If you're fine with that, go ahead. Be fine with it. But I want to win a championship, and they have the talent to win a championship, but he can't make other players around him better.
They don't have the talent to win a championship on that team. This is where the divide is. They do not have the They don't have the talent. I don't think they do.
I think personally,
they got 3 players. They got Steven Adams.
2 players.
I think
they can't expect Raymond Felton, who's probably one of the worst point guards in the NBA right now, to do anything off the bench.
Hey, Raymond Felton was good for that 1.5 years on the Knicks. How dare you?
I want Russell Westbrook to have the same accountability for his team's failures as all the other stars in the league.
He does, and he will get that when they lose. He'll get that. Guess what? Stephen A. will be talking about that like 2 days from now, where it'll be all his fault. Paul George will go to L.A., and then we'll see what happens from there.
And the narrative is going to continue to be that Russell Westbrook style is not conducive to bringing and playing with other stars, which that means he's never going to win a championship.
That narrative is just false.
How? Migden, how? He has not succeeded with the stars that he's had on his team. He drove away the second best player. I don't care if he's a soft move. If Kevin Durant thought he could win with him, he would have stayed.
No.
Why?
No, Kevin Durant. Because it was Kevin. Like I said, 0 for 9 in Game 6 in the finals. They were there. They were legit.
And by the way, that team. By the way, if he won that one game, they probably would have won that. They would have won the title that year. Migden, would you say that?
I think they have a very good shot.
Yeah, they probably beat the Cavs. They probably beat the Cavs that year with Westbrook and Durant. Yes, but guess what? With Westbrook and Durant, they blew the 3-1 lead. If you're telling me Kevin Durant's completely is the only one accountable for that 3-1 blown lead,
he was.
Yes, that's what I'm telling you.
So
I've never seen a performance like that.
So you're telling me was it just one player on the Warriors that blew that 3-1 lead too? In the finals,
okay. Well,
is that all on one guy too?
If you're going game by game here, then that takes a lot more time.
I mean, I'm just saying, if we could just blame one player for every team's collapse, then let's do it, and let's not give Russell Westbrook any of the blame. But there were 3 other games in that series that Russell Westbrook contributed to losing.
Well, cool. Guess what? Guess what's going to happen too? God forbid the Cavs get out of this series alive, which they should. Guess what? Everyone blames. Oh, they blame the support. Oh, doesn't have enough support on the team. The only reason why you're making your argument, well, I don't know what the word is. I'm not a thesaurus, but I get everyone gets your point. But this season's it's different, and I don't know why. And there's parts of me where I agree with you, Bill, but at the same time, when you're supposed to have something that doesn't come through, hence Carmelo Anthony, or even a better I hate to say, but better coaching. Like, you got to be able to reel in your own emotions, and sometimes you're not able to do that, but at least the higher up can do that. You're telling me Popovich couldn't, literally drag him down? It's like, all right, sit for 5 minutes and literally calm down. I
don't think the emotions play it. It's purely his style. It's purely his style.
He had 4 fouls in the first half.
He is going to be the best. He has to be the best regular season player I've ever seen. But that doesn't mean it can win in the playoffs.
He's still a good playoff player. He just doesn't pull off the wins. It's like Carmelo Anthony back on the Nuggets days. He's basically
you can't say he doesn't win with other superstars, because they went to the finals with Durant and Harden on the same team. So that argument should be.
But did they Migden won? I'm saying win. They didn't win. Won, and that
cool.
Was,
you know how
that
hard
was
it is to win an NBA championship?
That was also 7 years ago now, and he wasn't an MVP candidate, and he wasn't a top-tier player. Yes.
Jeez, I feel old.
So I'm saying, what has he done lately to prove that what has he done for me in the last 3 years other than take a bunch of scrums to the playoffs? MVP, deserved it. Get a triple-double this year, lose in the first round of the playoffs. And then blow a 3-1 series lead with Kevin Durant, which he was a major part of that team. That is
major
what,
part of that team. So he was a major part of why they should have got through. I'm sorry. I'm very hung up on the poor play of Kevin Durant in that Game 6 in front of his home crowd.
That's
and
now,
then for him to lose.
we now have 2 more years of sample size, along with this year with better players than the year before when he did win that MVP. To look at now and say, okay, maybe he does need to change his style, and maybe it isn't conducive to making his teammates better. Even though he can get all the assists and all the triple doubles in the world, maybe he can't function. He needs to switch and slow his game down a little bit to get his team and his teammates better shots, even though they're getting great ones. I'm not denying that. I'm saying that style isn't the way you win a championship nowadays.
You know, this is the draft edition of our show.
Oh, yeah.
The NFL draft edition.
Yeah, I've been on for a while. I just have to agree to disagree here, Billy. He's always gotten his teammates involved. He's an MVP player. He averages a triple-double. Why would you change the play of that guy? I don't understand. They should have went to the finals 3 years ago. He lost his best friend, the best player, second best player in the league. He still got far in the playoffs. And you know what? This year it's not clicking right now with DeMelo and Paul George. It happens. It was an experiment. It fell on its face, but you know what? I wouldn't count him out just yet. You never know.
Sam Presti's also a phenomenal GM. I think realistically, they trust Russell, and they can probably figure it out. Migden, we appreciate the call. And realistically, maybe before you graduate, I think I may have to get 2 judge stands in here and have you 2 debate it out live on the air. Because I think that... Just random topics, but not Russell Wilson, maybe Russell Wilson too. Russell Westbrook would be a phenomenal choice. I appreciate the call, Migden.
Before I go, can we all say prayers in the set for Josh Allen to go 1? Because I'm hearing Baker might go 1 now. I can't believe that.
We're getting it to him. I have listened to you and Oleg for about a week and a half now. I'm very ready. I'm very ready to talk.
I've been talking about this draft for way too long. Oscar is literally jumping out of his chair to go talk about Saquon Barkley going to the Giants, and
I got news for you, Oscar. Oscar, I got news for you. If Allen goes 1,
they're going to get Darnold.
Going 2.
Yep.
Darnold's going 2.
Yep.
We'll see
guys,
about
I'll try to listen in my class.
All right, sounds great, man. Take care, man.
I'm late for. Goodbye.
All right, bye. Well, that's just, you know what? We're segueing here. NFL draft. Now, we're going to do a little something different here. Preferably, we can do a little mock draft between ourselves. I think that would be fun. However, actually, what? Yeah, let's do the draft, because then we'll talk about baseball at the end to cap it off. And hopefully no one walks in on us like they usually do. I think Josh Allen may go number 1. I honestly do.
I think he's too big of a risk at 1.
Yeah.
I think the Browns go. The Browns have 2 thought processes here, and just hear me out on these. So, the best play in the draft is, I think there's very much consensus that's Saquon Barkley, correct? If you guys have a different opinion. Yes. I think a route that's a very strong possibility is they go Saquon 1 and they see who falls to them at 4. I think if they go Saquon 1, then
Saquon, not Saquon. Come on, say your words.
All right, man. I'm sick, dude. Relax. I got a nasal congestion.
Cool. I was sick and I was hacking up a lung yesterday last week during my allergies.
I think that's a very strong possibility, and then because they do have Tyrod Taylor, they do have Deshaun Kaiser as well. They could go best player available and then get the guy that's left at 4. It depends on if they've identified their guy. If they identified their guy as Darnold, they go him 1, and we're talking about the Giants who they're picking, which I think is a very higher possibility. I don't know how do you guys feel about that? You think they're 100% going quarterback number 1?
I think they have to, only because it's literally they're in a perfect spot right now, which for something that I thought the Giants, they may actually end up doing this at this point, that the Giants that I've been saying the Giants should do, at least for this draft, that I said weeks and weeks ago. But now I'm kind of changing my mind on it. I don't know. But the Browns have an opportunity to draft him at number 1. Let him sit. Let Hugh Jackson teach him the offense. Let Tyrod Taylor play with those guys that they signed. Have him practice with the ones. Preseason, let him do some work. Let him sit for 8 games.
If that's what you're thinking is though, wouldn't you rather?
Jared Goff did that.
Wouldn't you rather
Look what
have
happened.
the raw talent guy that you can develop in Josh Allen? Not
That's why I said Josh Allen. That's why I meant Josh
sorry.
Allen.
I thought you were talking about Darnold.
No. That's what I was gonna say.
Okay.
No,
Yes. So then, 100%. If that's the route they're thinking, and they're thinking upside on the number one pick,
because guess what? That's what happened with Jared Goff, and look what happened. I understand Goff by what seems like a system quarterback. It's very true, and that's very possible. I think it would be very tough to tell what happens.
The Browns have good enough talent around them to for any quarterback to succeed. Yeah.
Well, let's see what happens. Well, their offensive line is now kind of a little bit of a mess. You don't have the one staple in Joe Thomas, which this still kills me to this day. I wish he was a New York Giant. Yeah. But Nate Soldier is a great substitute. But let's see what happens. I think the Browns actually have talent where they can win a game with Tyrod Taylor, maybe 3. But let's see if they draft Josh Allen, which I think they should. Let him sit back and learn because he has the raw talent to learn. He has the raw talent to do something. He's like Carson Wentz in this. There's a lot of similarities.
There's a lot of similarities.
But I think Carson Wentz will end up being the better player, personally. Just because I think that the way that the system works around him is great, plus the talent.
Bias, yes.
But if we're going, in my opinion, number 1, Josh Allen. I got to stop talking. Oscar, what do you think?
Oscar, what's your pick? We'll write them down and discuss next.
All right,
next
yeah.
Well,
for the Giants or for the Browns, number 1?
We're going to the Browns, number 1.
Browns, number 1. I think if they're going to draft a quarterback right away, if they're going to draft a quarterback, it's going to be Darnold. I don't think it's going to be Baker. I don't think it's going to be Allen. It's going to be Darnold because Allen has the most work to do, to get done. Which is why I think if the Giants are going to take any quarterback, it should be Allen, just like as we were just talking about. However, I think it's going to be Darnold, number 1. He's shown the most off his pro day. He could be the one that can show up right away and to those talented receivers after sitting maybe 3-4 games behind Tyrod Taylor.
Now, given your number 1 pick that you and Allen. You had Darnold.
Well, who are you?
I went Barkley for the sake of argument. I want to think about every scenario.
Which they totally can.
I want us to all examine every scenario that could happen. Given your number 1 pick of Allen Lutz, who do the Giants go to? This was your pick.
I refuse to believe that a USC quarterback will ever succeed and be a franchise quarterback. I refuse to believe that to this day because history has shown it. And the Giants have not had a good running back since Kiki Barber, at best. Like a truly talented running back. And Tiki Barber is debatably a Hall of Famer. Debatably.
So you're going to pass up on the opportunity to draft your future franchise quarterback?
To be honest,
yes.
Oscar will go off on this rant because some of it I agree with. Also, I trust the Giants. I have a feeling the Giants will not do that well next year anyway. So, if they want to draft a quarterback in the 2nd round, great. There's plenty of guys that they can do that, or they can trade up late in the 1st if they really feel like there's a guy there that they don't want to have taken. Because realistically, all those quarterbacks will be done by the Miami pick. Or maybe even where's Buffalo sitting at?
14, 13.
Buffalo's sitting at 14. Probably by there, unless Buffalo trades up, which realistically can happen.
Yep.
I think the Dolphins will go with the quarterback at 12, which, in my opinion, it'll spoiler alert because it'll go down. It could be Rosen, but I don't think that's the case. It could be, but it will probably end up being Baker
Mayfield. That's what I was
only
thinking.
Because
he's a bigger risk.
And I'll spoil it on my number. I'll spoil my number 3 now.
No, let's go. I want to hear Oscar's pick. Come on.
Oh, you know what? Fine. Saquon. I'm going Saquon because you know what? I know I'm going against myself for what I said over a month and a half ago, but if he could do just something that like any resemblance of a running game, Tom Coughlin will be smiling and have a tear dropping down from his eye while he's sitting in the hot sun in Jacksonville, leading a team to the playoffs. And I think Shermer needs a good running back, and that was a very good, successful thing for him in Minnesota, where he had plenty of guys that actually can run the ball, including Dalvin Cook. I know he barely played, but imagine if that Minnesota team had Dalvin Cook. Forget about it. Saquon at number 2. He's going to look good.
Oscar, let's hear it.
He's going to look good in that big
let's
blue
hear
helmet.
it,
Oh, yeah.
Let's hear it, Oscar.
You already know Orleans Dark was going to have to trade away his jersey because number 26.
Given your Sam Darnold pick, who do you pick it to?
So I have actually 2. As much I would love to have Barkley, but Barkley by far. However, I know there's a lot of. The only one who knows is Gettleman, who really knows who he's going to pick. It's either going to be Barkley or Chubb. Those are my 2.
Wow, you're not even going quarterback.
No quarterback.
If you don't go Barkley, you have to go with a franchise quarterback at that pick.
No.
He's
crazy?
I'm saying
I disagree with. I agree with you, Bill, in the sense that if this guy thinks that the best way to revive, I've been saying this too for like off air for a while. If they want to draft a defensive guy, draft him in the 2nd or 3rd round. You could literally have signed.
You could have your franchise quarterback.
No, I don't need a franchise defensive end or outside
exactly.
linebacker.
You need a quarterback.
Only because not even because we need a quarterback. You can get a rotation guy for that period of time that fits the system.
I see.
For at least a year or 2.
You guys are, and I know a lot of people do it. You guys are looking long term. That's what you guys are looking for.
That's
this
what the draft is for.
But with the huge signings with Solder, that's huge money right there for winning now.
You have to compete with Dallas, who has a quarterback for the next 10 years. Eagles, who have a quarterback for the next 10 years. And the Redskins, who have a quarterback for the next 5 years. Hold on.
They did lose JPK, which I understand in the past.
You're going to lose your quarterback in probably a year.
Do you know why? Because you know who we're going to get in the 2nd round? If we desperately need a quarterback, because you guys don't believe in Webb, nobody's seen him play.
No one believes in that guy. There's not one person on the planet besides you that believes in that guy.
So...
Actually,
he's under Shermer. He is under Shermer. You know what Shermer did with Case Keenum, with Sam Bradford, with Teddy Bridgewater. So we haven't even seen that yet. We're in a win now mode, as you can see.
So who are you going?
I'm going. The 2nd round. I'm going to go Mason Rudolph. And if Mason Rudolph's not there, we're going to get the lineman Will Hernandez and Barkley.
Who's your 2nd pick? Barkley or Chubb?
Barkley.
Okay.
And then if Will Hernandez is gone in the 1st round, we get Mason Rudolph. 2nd pick in the 2nd round. If he's not there, we get Will Hernandez to strengthen that line. But I also think that the Broncos, if they're all set with Keenum with their quarterback, they're going to trade down to the number 5 spot and get Quentin Nelson.
Well, they're already at 4. So why they're already at 4?
No, they're at 5. Broncos are at 5. Cleveland's at 4.
I'm going with the 3rd, with the 2nd overall pick is Darnold. You do not pass up on that guy for the Giants. You have the opportunity to get your franchise stabilizing quarterback after your greatest quarterback of all time retires. You take that opportunity. You are never going to be this high in the draft that have this opportunity. If Barkley goes 1, you don't even wait a second to hand in that paper. You go Darnold because he sets you up. He sets you up for franchise stability, which is what the Maras love. They love the franchise stability. They love having their guys. He's the All-American kid. He's a blue-collar kid. I understand the whole USC quarterback. Darnold. He's a consensus. He's been a consensus type of guy.
I've watched him play college football. As a Notre Dame fan, I've watched him play college football for a majority of for the past 3 years, or however many long he's been on the field. He had that one phenomenal game against Penn State in the Rose Bowl. Cool. His last full year of college football can be described by one word: interception.
Yep. That Ohio State game, that's the only reason I hated that game. I don't want it.
I can't deal with another quarterback in my lifetime that throws as much interceptions as debatably for a good last chunk of his career, Eli Manning. And I love Eli Manning to death, but Eli Manning at points in time was very much a turnover machine. Sam Darnold can very much be like that, and I'd rather have faith I'd rather have a guy who is more talented in Saquon, because I don't think if they don't trust Rosen at number 2, because I don't think Baker's not worth number 2 overall pick. If they don't trust Rosen, that's fine. Then go with the best available player. The best available player, if he's not drafted number 1, is Saquon Barkley.
So personally, you'll see from my next pick, I'll go first because it's the Jets pick, and I live with a Jets guy, and it's been excruciating painful listening to his thought process of Baker Mayfield.
Shout out to Alex from Ashwood.
I love Josh Rosen. I like his. A lot of people are saying like he's not interested in football, which isn't a bad thing. He has other interests. People should be a diverse person. You're an educated man from UCLA. You should have a diverse interest in things. People are saying like he's cocky, he's cool, and people like he apparently said one time, yeah, he just like kind of decided to play football. He was like, I'm just going to decide to do this, and people think that's a bad thing. Specifically, who we just referenced, I think Josh Rosen has the potential to be Aaron Rodgers. Same build, same type of mentality, like a good-looking guy who's cocky, who doesn't give a crap what you think about him. I think Rosen has a chance to succeed in the New York market more than any other guy in this draft.
Well, that's why I liked him as a Giant.
I do like him as a Giant. I just don't think the Giants go Rosen because the Maras don't like people who speak their mind, and they already have a guy who does that in Odell. So they're not going to pick a quarterback
with potentially. I'm sorry to cut you off here.
You're good.
I just want to go back to the Giants real quick. Barkley opens up the offense, and he's going to extend Eli's career with the checkdowns, and he'll be the last line in blocking him. He's a great blocker.
He actually, that's another thing. The Giants also haven't had a good blocking running back.
All right, wait, real quick. But back to the point. I don't know if it's a possibility because I know he wants to play for the NFC East, and I know it's wishful thinking. Des Bryant could be the number 2 receiver for the New York Giants, and he's already know he's going to be number 2. And that offense with Barkley,
have him.
Yeah, but that's why I say we draft Barkley, and that's what will extend Eli's career.
Okay,
which is why, which is why we don't draft the quarterback number 2, but the Jets will.
All right, go with what's your Jets pick?
You already said Rosen, right?
Yes, and I believe Rosen's better than I like Rosen the best out of all these guys in the draft too.
I do like the chosen Rosen, as Migden likes to say, but I'm gonna go with Baker Mayfield.
Oh my God!
Because he is a competitor. He's a competitor. He's gonna bring a spark to that Jets offense, and let's see what Lutz has to say.
Okay, I'm going to steal this from my friend John Lamato. Shout out to you, Lamato, if you're even listening. You're probably not. Hopefully you listen to it on the YouTube thing, which you guys can find on YouTube, youtube.com/Army Sports.
We got to get to this top 5 before 4 o'clock.
Oh, come on. It doesn't really matter. What are they going to do? Kick us out? Number 3, the Jets are stupid if they trade up to number 3 and draft Baker Mayfield. Because realistically, let's go down the line here. 3 would have been Indianapolis. They would not have gotten a quarterback. Cleveland at 4 will probably not get a quarterback because they already went quarterback in 1 for the sake of the argument. Broncos may not go quarterback because they have Case Keenum. If they do something. That's a possibility. 6 they can get. And by the way, Denver at 5, they could have went either Allen or Rosen or whatever the deal is. At 6 they would have gotten Baker.
Who do you think they draft given that Barkley and Allen are off the board?
Chosen Rosen. Chosen Rosen is great in that New York market. And you know what?
I think he's
the Jets would
be the best.
The Jets would be.
I really do.
Baker Mayfield is a competitor, and I want to see him do well, and is a winner. But these guys at this point, the Jets can't be that dumb and pick Rosen and not pick Rosen. But yeah, all right. Number 4. If I don't know how their defense is going to look, and I won't lie, I'm kind of stealing this off of ESPN. Bradley Chubb.
I agree. Bradley Chubb, number 4. Myles Garrett, Bradley Chubb.
I'm going Josh Allen.
That's a
after Barkley. All right.
Barkley, my top. I think the Browns don't have their guy identified. I think what they should do personally.
See the layout go through.
I think they're going to play it out. They're going to get the best guy available, who we've all consensus is Barkley. Darnold goes second to the Giants. Jets get chosen Rosen. The Browns now identify between Baker and Allen. The more upside potential being Allen, and like we talked about, he can sit behind Tyrod Taylor. He can learn from Hugh Jackson. He doesn't have to play right away, which is what Allen needs in order to be successful. I think it's a perfect situation for the Browns right there. I think that should be what the Browns are looking from the 1 and 4 and the way this draft is going to play out. Yeah. I think that would be a perfect scenario for them. I do agree that Chubb would be a perfect guy to put next to Myles Garrett, and that defense is scary. Don't get me wrong. That defense is got, obviously,
also-
especially in the AFC North. But I think they need to get their guy, and I think Allen has the most potential of any quarterback.
I'm actually going to add one more possibility in there, because for all the Jersey guys out there, and especially for friends of my high school who know about this kid, and it was pretty good, Minkah Fitzpatrick could easily go number 4 overall, and could actually place another Jersey guy in Jabril Peppers, because Jabril has not done a lot as a safety, and Minkah Fitzpatrick can actually cover as a safety. But in my opinion, actually, if we're going to switch to number 5 right now, I'd say Broncos go secondary, and I would either go with. I would go with either
Fitzpatrick's the best guy in the secondary.
Best safety in the draft.
Safety?
Yeah. But if they're really thinking corner, they can go Denzel Ward. You know what? I'll just say Denzel Ward.
Ward, Oscar, what do you do?
I'm going Derwin James.
Derwin James,
Florida State.
Because I
You think Derwin James is better than Minkah Fitzpatrick for the Broncos at 5?
Yeah,
no,
he does.
I don't. But I'm going to say they're going to draft Derwin James instead.
Why?
And I'm going Chubb.
Because of the big hitting mentality that the corner.
Who do you got going? We got to be quick. Who do you got going at 6?
We don't have to be quick. We'll be fine. 6. You know what? Andrew Luck needs some protection. I'm going with the big old boy,
Lineman from Notre
Jersey's
Dame.
finest, Notre Dame's finest, Quinn Nelson, best offensive lineman in this draft.
Oscar, what do you got?
Same thing, Nelson all the way.
Could have the potential.
I will also say the same because
He has the potential to be Zach Martin-esque,
Yes.
as in literally be an all-pro for the first 5 years of his career. And if panned out right, like Zach Martin, he'll probably be a Hall of Fame
who's picking
guard.
at 7?
7?
Tampa Bay.
7's Tampa Bay, which here's my Minkah Fitzpatrick pick, and
Here's my this
is where I think Minkah would go, but Derwin James is a little bit further down. And I think, to be honest, I think Derwin Derwin James could easily go to Chicago, too.
So do we have a consensus Minkah Fitzpatrick pick at 7? What do you?
No, he has.
I got Minkah at 7.
So as do I.
All right,
As do I. That defense is
Yeah.
going to be great next year.
I'm having Minkah Fitzpatrick.
They got a great defense in the AFC South. Even though no one trusts the coach or Jameis, but that is a scary D that can win them some games. All right, at 8.
Bears, I'm literally going to go top guy off the board, Raquan Smith. They need a linebacker. I think you can go DN with Harold Landry, but I don't think they'll go secondary because they have Kyle Fuller or Kendall Fuller, one of the Fullers. I want to say Kyle. But I'm going, they need an inside linebacker.
Who you got, Oscar?
Raquan Smith.
I'm gonna throw a little curveball here. Jair Alexander, guy from Louisville. Corner.
Who?
Corner.
Oh, okay. That's it.
I'm going to go James on that one. All right. Who we got at 9?
9, Derwin James. The San Francisco, the one I think they're very close to basically taking over the NFC West, shockingly enough. And maybe if a certain Des Bryant goes over to San Francisco and signs for a 1-year deal, they don't need any help at wide receiver. Plus, there's no wide receiver that's really worth a top 10 pick. So, honestly, going back off the top of the board, Derwin James.
I'm going offensive lineman. Garoppolo's going to need some. I'm going Mike McGlinchey.
You think
He's going to guard for Garoppolo. That's me. That's my
I
pick.
also agree with the offensive line pick. Whoever they have the best on the board after Fitz, obviously pick him. Garoppolo needs all the protection he's going to get, and stable offensive line wins football games. Rounding out the top 10, who we got, Lutz?
I don't know, to be honest. Like, the Raiders, I don't know what the Raiders need. They don't really need a lot of pass rush.
I'll tell you what
They don't like. I couldn't tell you, but for the sake of argument, I think McGlinchey is the second best offensive lineman on this board, and you can never go wrong with more protection or good offensive line. Donald Penn is almost going to be done soon, so give Derek Carr some more protection. Mike McGlinchey.
I'm going to have to disagree with you there. What they need is a run stop, and with that run stop, you're going to need an inside linebacker, and I'm going to go with Roquan Smith out of Georgia to the Raiders.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You already had him that high at this point. You can even go Rashad Evans out of Alabama.
All right, so I'm going to list out our top 10 real fast. Everybody, I hope you remember because hopefully I saved this. So at number 1, I have Barkley. Oscar has Darnold. Lutz has Allen.
Why don't you save it for next week?
No, I'll round out our top 10 right now.
Oh, yeah, no, perfect.
We got to finish up at some point.
Don't have to.
At number 2, I have Darnold. Oscar has Barkley. Lutz has Barkley. At 3, I have chosen Rosen going to the Jets. Oscar has Baker going to the Jets, as many of our Jets fans want. Lutz has Rosen. At 3, I had Allen, and you two had Chubb. Going
At 4.
Going to the 4. My apologies. 5. Lutz, you did Ward. You did James. I had Chubb. You have bad radio. Oscar did James, and I had Chubb. At 6, Lutz had Nelson. I had Nelson, and Oscar had Nelson. 7, we all had Fitzpatrick. At 8, Lutz had James. You had Oscar had Alexander, and I also had James.
I'm gonna have to change that. It's just to Ward.
Ward
instead of Alexander. Yeah,
You're just saying that because he's the top guy on the board.
I know. I forgot about Ward.
At 9, Lutz had James. Me and Oscar both had McGlinchey, and the Raiders. I went best available, whoever they identify as a great offensive line.
That's why I said McGlinchey.
Yeah, you said McGlinchey. He's off my board, and Oscar said Smith, the linebacker. So now the quarterbacks that we don't have off the board right now are going. You guys don't have Allen.
I don't have Baker. Which realistically,
you don't have Baker. I don't have Baker either.
Which I think Baker can easily be a Miami Dolphin.
I think he's going to be a Buffalo. I think he's a Buffalo Bill.
I don't see him as a Bill.
So.
I see him as Bill.
The weather.
I would love him in that. Even though he's just like a less proven form of Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah.
But like I seriously see him.
Did I even say Darnold? I don't even think I said Darnold. I think I literally have Darnold. Got Darnold outside of the top 10.
Yeah. No. Well, you know those quarterbacks.
Let's you do. You have
Sam Darnold's a Miami Dolphin.
Taylor, they're getting lucky in that.
And then Baker goes. You know what? Actually, Sam Darnold. I don't even know. Baker could literally drop. Baker, to be honest, Baker could easily be in Arizona.
You're going Rosen over Darnold? What?
To the Jets?
Yeah.
You like just pure Rosen Darnold.
I think the Haas family, whoever owns the Jets, refuses to draft a USC quarterback ever again in his life.
Okay.
And I think
that's a fair point. I've heard a lot of Jets fans make that, and I'm like, I used to think that was the dumbest argument I've ever heard, but it makes sense. Well,
also, I think Rosen fits whatever system that the Jets have, which I don't even know what that is.
I think he's so New York, it's perfect.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But Darnold doesn't fit that. And then even
I think he's legitimately the next coming of Broadway.
But let's think about it. Denver, if they really want a quarterback, they can go take Darnold. If they think he's the best available player, then take him. Indianapolis doesn't need one. Tampa Bay doesn't need one yet. Chicago doesn't need one.
In your
San Francisco doesn't need one, and Oakland Raiders don't need one.
In your case, if it plays out how you think,
Darnold can go 11.
Elway 100% picks Darnold. I think he's praying for that to happen.
Oh no,
I understand he signed Case Keenum and everything, but I don't think Elway passes on the opportunity to pick the highest rated quarterback in the draft.
I think at that point too. But even if the Browns go number 1, something about tall quarterbacks and John Elway really makes him happy. So he can easily put him at
5 with Josh Allen.
Even if let's say I don't pick Josh Allen at number 1 with Cleveland. He can easily go with Josh Allen. He loves tall quarterbacks. He loves projects. He was a big Brock Osweiler fan at that point. Oscar's getting really happy over a soccer game.
No, I'm getting upset.
Oh, he's getting upset.
Quick hitters. How was the Yankees game?
Quick hitters. The Yankees game. It was great. I bought a beer for $12, which was really annoying. Outfield was great. I did predict that Gilbert Torres would go 0-for-4 and do absolutely nothing, and I was right about that, which was really horrible. But hey, they won 5-1, and some guy literally didn't wear their shoes and took off his shoes, and
Yankees fan, so much class.
Yeah, well, I know. I think it was a Toronto fan. And some Yankee fan was literally chanting, "Put your shoes on," and it got the whole section to chant, "Put your shoes on," which was great.
That's cool.
Also,
Sir Didi. That's all I have to say. Is Sir Didi is coming up clutch.
And also,
the Phillies have the second best record in the National League, even though they just lost to the team with the best record in the National League last night.
Also, quick couple things too. Supposedly, Michael Vick is going to be offensive coordinator in the new AAFL league, which I really don't care. More prospect call-ups. They're trying to do some NCAA panels trying to end one and done and ban cheaters, which is understandable. I know we didn't really talk about that, but like that may be a topic for next week. Hopefully, if anything goes around. I'm trying to forget anything. Oh yeah, Boston-Toronto Game 7. If Boston loses, my whole hockey predictions are out the window. Then I'll root for the Vegas Golden Knights. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate you all for listening. Follow us at Rambling Sport on Twitter. I will promise you, probably by tonight, there will be 4 episode uploads, including this episode of our show. We appreciate all that listen. Appreciate
Migden for still listening. Great talk, buddy.
Yeah, we appreciate Migden for being not the only one calling, but the only one who actually was still on the call for 40 minutes. Mock draft comes tomorrow. Hopefully the Giants draft for the future.
The draft comes.
The draft, not mock draft. The draft comes tomorrow. Hopefully the Giants do something right. Hopefully the Jets don't screw up.
Eagles picking a linebacker at 32. Please.
Maybe they get Rashad Evans at 32, or maybe they trade up and do a little. Maybe go at 20 or so.
Let's trade down and get a second and third round pick. We don't. No Eagles talk. They are the Super Bowl friggin' champions. Let's go.
I don't need to hear about the Eagles being
and the
Super Bowl
Sixers
champs.
are about to win the East, and the Nova won the championship, and the Phillies are 15-8, better than the Yankees. Good night. Go home. Thank you for listening.
No. Okay, no. You can't end it like that. You can't end my show the way I desire. Again, you confuse
Go
it.
Birds. Go Birds.
No. You know what? Forget it. You know what? Forget it. We tried. I tried. I kind of failed. But you know what? Keep on listening to Radio 1851. Watch my radio show listen to my radio show on YouTube, please.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. And you know what?
Have a great night, guys.
And we are out.
You're listening to Radio 1851.